Alright, lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. It's one of those live streams I've done in a very long time. So hit the like button if you're watching this on replay. Hit the like button if you're watching live. Probably one of the reasons I've done this is to explain where I have been as well. And to talk to you guys, a couple of things are really happening around the club. And also in football, World Cup, the Glazers are selling Manchester United. And Ronaldo has also left. So maybe Arsenal could grab ourselves that opportunity to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's have a chat in the comment box below. But in this one, I want us to dive into some of the stories. PSG are interested in Gabriel Martinelli. They are actually serious. They want to sign him. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham are now potential targets for Mikel Arteta. I mean, this, provided we can win the league or even finish in the top 4, according to major sources. Arsenal are in talks with Danilo. He could be our first signing of the summer. We'll talk about Mikhailo Modric, Ronaldo, and the need for a new striker. So make sure you're hitting that button and make sure you're subscribing to the podcast as well. Good morning. Talk to me about all those all those stories you want us to talk about on the podcast, you want us to talk about live. I want to react to them. I want to get to know what you people have been watching, what you people have been actually listening to, and we could have a discussion around them. So first and foremost, where have I been? Now, I went back to school, and that means I'm going to be quite divided. At times, I'll be a little bit more into school, and then I won't be uploading as much. But I can't promise that I'll be uploading on a daily basis. But I went back to school, and that is where much of my time has actually been going. But right now, everything is settled. I will be uploading more on the channel, and I'll be talking to you guys on a regular basis. That is through the live streams. So make sure you're always watching the live streams. They will be coming to you at 10 p.m. in the evening every single day, unless when we have football, right? So 10 p.m. every single day. Make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're checking in for a new live stream. Okay, that is done. The upload times that I've actually upgraded to will be uploading at 10 a.m. I'll be uploading at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Right? I mean, that will depend on my schedule and my calendar, but that is what I want to do. Upload at 10 a.m., upload at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. and then we can have a recap and discussion at 10 p.m. in the evening. Now, first and foremost, PSG are interested in signing Gabriel Martinelli. A couple of sources that I've been looking at, especially stories from France, are actually indicating that PSG will be scouting Gabriel Martinelli this World Cup. Now, look, there is a problem with having players like Gabriel Martinelli, let their contracts run into the final year. Players like Saka, players like, Gabriel Magalhaes and all that. These young players are really doing very well for Arsenal, and the project is moving on very well. So it looks, look, so many clubs are watching right now. So many eyes are out there looking at these, young players and their performances. And you look at PSG what they've done in the last summer. They're trying to clean their squad. They're trying to do something sensible, footballing wise. They're trying to eradicate. They're trying to delete the likes of Neymar, delete the likes of Messi, players who are old, earning a lot of money, are not actually bringing in enough return on investment. So players like Gabriel Martinelli are now the potential targets for Paris Saint-Germain. They want to operate like a proper club. They want to operate like a real club. And that's why they brought in a new sporting director, a new manager, new management, and everything is actually running very well. So they're interested in Gabriel Martinelli. I'm not surprised here. I think it's not only PSG. Madrid are interested in Gabriel Martinelli. Liverpool as well. We know Jurgen Klopp admires really much, has big admiration for Gabriel Martinelli as well. But the question is, when do we give Gabriel Martinelli a new contract? When does he sign a new deal? Because for me, with Arsenal, this has always been the problem. And although we've worked on a couple of issues, this is one thing we are yet to work on. letting players' contracts run down into the final year. There, it means you're opening up to competition. It means you're now sharing the players' the players' concentration, the players' loyalty with another club that has more money, that is promising him, at least Champions football for now, and even a bigger sign-on fee if actually signs for them as a free agent. Now, one thing I know about Gabriel Martinelli is he's an in and out guy for Arsenal. He loves Arsenal. He loves the project. He loves Mikel Arteta. And in one of his recent interviews, he was asked whether he's actually baffled or bothered by the fact that he was rejected by Barcelona and Manchester United, eventually to end up at Arsenal. And he said, look, for me, the road was always Arsenal. The moment I signed for Arsenal, I didn't think about other clubs. I didn't think about other rejections, and I want to be at Arsenal for as long as I can. So with a player like Gabriel Martinelli, you have the loyalty. He will stay around, and everything will go on very, very well. But it's not the case with all players. We saw it with Aaron Ramsey. When we delayed to give him a new deal, he actually moved on. We saw it with the likes of Jack Wilshere. When we delayed to give him a new deal, he actually moved on. We saw it with the likes of Alexander Lacazette. He just rejected a new deal and said, I'm gonna run down my deal, get a sign-on fee at the end of the season, and join a new club. So I'm not really afraid of PSG in this deal. They have the money and maybe, the success that a player like Gabriel Martinelli would want, playing alongside Messi, playing alongside Kylian Mbappe. But for now, I'm still sure Gabriel Martinelli knows what is good for his future. I think he's one of those players whose management and backroom have been doing a very, very good job in terms of decision making. Even when he was not playing, when he was behind Emile Smith-Rowe, there was nothing like disgruntlement. There was nothing like complaints. He kept on working hard, and look, now he's one of the best players in the Premier League, right? We want to say one of the most important players at Arsenal. That is true. Everybody knows that. But for me, he's one of the best players at Arsenal right now. So if you're to sell Gabriel Martinelli, this is a question I want for you for the comment section. If you're to sell Gabriel Martinelli, how much would you be going for? Should we go for around 100 million? 150 million. I'm not really sure, but according to Fabrizio Romano, the player wants to stay with us. No, we will try to keep him. We will try to make sure that he stays at the club for as long as we can. And for me, that is a positive. That is one of the biggest positives we have in this one. He will stay. He will sign a new deal, but this should be a lesson. Don't let your players run into the final year. Don't let your players, contracts run into the last 6-12 months. It becomes harder for you to convince them. It becomes harder for you to beat the competition from all these other clubs that are actually listening in. So they will be scouting him in Qatar, and probably if Arsenal don't take action, they will try to sign him. But I really, really doubt Gabriel Martinelli can betray Arsenal. Not at this point in time. Probably in the next 5 years when he grows into a bigger brand and it feels like he needs to change environment, needs a bigger challenge, and all that. But for now, the challenge is just right. The game time is getting absolutely, what he needs as a young player, and the confidence and the manager and the project right now are absolutely fit for him. Now, we are in talks with Palmeiras. This is the biggest story around Arsenal right now. We're in talks with Palmeiras to sign Danilo, according to James Ole from ESPN. Now, I like this guy. I like James Ole a lot. And the reason as why I like him is not because he's a very, very credible journalist, because he is a very credible journalist, but I like his... there is something about him you would call that the humor, the humorous part of a journalist. He's simple and he's humorous, and that's one of the reasons actually why I like him. So he's been reporting around this deal in the last 24 hours, and he gave us a couple of very interesting pieces to talk about. First and foremost, he says Arsenal are in talks now with Palmeiras. It is not intention anymore. We are in talks with Palmeiras to sign Danilo in January. Palmeiras will be willing to sell in January because they have already won their 11th Brazilian Serie A title. So they're champions. Their league is done. I don't know how their calendar year runs, but their league is done. They're champions, and now they are ready to sell. Actually, James Ole says that one of the reasons is why they refused to sell to Arsenal in the summer is because they were in the title race and they couldn't lose one of the best stylists, one of the best players at the moment. Look, you understand? It's like someone coming in right now and says, we want Thomas Partey. Like, he's untouchable. We cannot think about selling him right now. So I do understand. Make sure you hit the like button, and you're typing good morning, good afternoon in the chat. Just let me know where you're watching from, and let's exchange the greetings in the chat. So James Ole says here that Palmeiras will be willing to listen to offers and to sell as well in January. They want around 20 million euros, and that is because they own 80% of the player's rights. The other 20% of the rights to the player are owned by his boyhood club, Cajazeiros, who they own 20%. That means if the total sell is 20%, is 20 million, Cajazeiros will get 20% of the 20 million, and then the 80% will go to Palmeiras. So this is what the deal is going to be structured like. Palmeiras will discuss their own fee, which is around 20 million euros. And then Cajazeiros will also discuss their own fee, which will be around 4 to 5 million euros. So the overall deal is going to be around 25 million euros, as long as we can negotiate. We can negotiate with both of these clubs and then get the deal done. Now, what is interesting here is the drastic change of events, right? As reported by ESPN. First and foremost, I think 21 hours ago, it was all about Arsenal interested in signing Danilo, and though that there was nothing much in going deep into this deal. It's in the last 10 hours, it is now progressing. Arsenal have stepped up their interest. We are in talks with Palmeiras, with the club, to get Danilo, right? So the shift of events, the shift in events is what is very interesting here. And also one thing that is also interesting here is the decision to sell by Palmeiras. Now, you don't want to go for players in January that are not for sale. That is number one. You don't want to go for players that are more likely to stay rather than move in January, because you have 30 days. You don't have a lot of time to work with. You don't have a lot of time at your disposal. You want to do the deals that are doable. You want to go for the deals that are actually able to be realized, and that is what I love about this deal. Palmeiras really ready to sell. They have finished their league, so literally they're in the summer, right? If you want to use that analogy, they're in the summer right now. And then the good thing about this deal is the money. In the summer, they were asking all clubs to trigger his release clause. That was around 85 million euros. That is his release clause, 85 million euros. They said, we are not selling. Any club that wants to buy him should trigger his release clause. Arsenal said, no, we cannot trigger his release clause. We'll come back in January or probably in the summer to get the deal done. And that is what we're actually trying to do right about now. So in terms of competition, James Ole says that Arsenal are not the only club interested. Right now, we have Ajax, we have Monaco as well. Both clubs are actually closely monitoring the situation. Ajax are willing to table over 20 million euros to sign him in January if they can beat the competition from Arsenal and Monaco as well. Monaco's intentions in this deal are not yet very clear, but it looks like, Monaco are one of these clubs that just wait for all the competition to fail, Arsenal to walk away for any reason, Ajax to walk away from any reason, and then they will walk in with some 13 million euros, 15 million euros, and then sign the player. But as far as we are concerned, Arsenal can consider themselves favorites to sign Danilo, and it could be our first signing of the summer, because the deal here, guys, is favorable. The deal is very, very favorable. 25 million euros from a club that wants to sell. The player's agent and the players want themselves confirm he wants a new challenge. Actually was talking about some of the transfer links and said, look, right now I consider myself mature. I consider myself ready to move to any league, to move to any part of the world and perform at a top level. So listen, I like Danilo very much. I really, really like him. And ever since we were linked with him in the summer, I've continued to follow him. I've continued to, invest my time into this young guy. And one of the positions that he can play in is where Xhaka plays and where Partey plays as well. I think that is going to be very key in who we sign in January. I know there is all this talk of Yuri Tillemans. I don't talk about Yuri Tillemans because it's a priority for us in January. But how easy is the deal? I think that is what the January transfer window is all about. It's one reason as why we didn't sign Dusan Vlahovic in January last summer. How easy is the deal? If the deal is easy, you get it done. There's no question there. You really, really get it done. But if the deal is not easy, if it's hard, then you're literally wasting your time. And I'm going to say that again. You're literally wasting your time. So with Danilo, player wants a move, ready for a move, and he's ready. He feels confident. He's ready to move to any part of the world. He's just confirmed that his agent is working on a couple of deals. He's actually told him a couple of clubs are interested in him, and he told him, notify me when there is something significant. And I think for me, this is the time. 22 years of age. He's coming into this Arsenal side as a backup for Thomas Partey. I think Albert Semedo would have done that role very well, but we got it wrong, right? Not the signing, but it's the position. It's the same. It's more like the same position or situation with Granit Xhaka. Whenever you sign a player and you get their position wrong, you never get the best out of them. We've seen Mikel Arteta trying to shift Albert Semedo to play him in the number 8, in the second number 10 role, in those advanced positions. He's trying to find the best position for Lokonga on the pitch. And one thing we can say here, Lokonga is never going to be a defensive midfielder. He's never going to be that defensive midfielder that Arsenal want. He's never going to be that defensive midfielder that we've always thought he would be. So Danilo, this is where signing a player like Danilo actually makes a lot of sense. So ESPN says we are in progressive talks with Palmeiras. The deal is not easy. There are few parties that do have rights to the player, 20% to Cajazeiras and then 80% to Palmeiras. But I still feel this deal is very, very easy. I mean, we have Edu as our sporting director. And honestly, if we are going to be honest, if you have a technical director as good as Edu has been, you have a technical director, a sporting director who is Brazilian, it just makes a lot of sense. It really makes a lot of sense. And these deals are actually going to be easier and easier and easier for me. So Danilo could be our first signing of the summer. I also want to talk about Mikhailo Modric so that I get your reactions in the comment section as well. We'll talk about Ronaldo, right? We'll talk about Ronaldo. Kanabi says, I think we get such a talent. Kanabi says, if we get such a talent, the Premier League is ours. Is ours to take. Kosi, much love, bro. Thank you so much. Now, look, I think with Arsenal and Manchester City, the difference is quality and depth. Those are the two problems. We've already talked about them, and they're not going to go away right now. They're not going to change. I don't think we are going to wake up one day and Arsenal have a bigger squad than Manchester City's. But if we can try to do improvements, that would be the better choice for me. Mike TV says, Kosi, much love. Big up to you, Mike TV. Hope you're doing well, you lads. There in the comment section. Okay, that doesn't really look that good. I'll delete it. Ronaldo will be delighted when we win the league. All the Premier League teams will be in their good form, especially from Feb to June. Okay. We'll be talking much about this. We'll be getting into much of these of your reactions later on. Now, the other story is about Mikhailo Modric, and I think this one is the most viewed Arsenal, tag right now. Arsenal's story. It comes to Mikhail Modric. Arsenal made him a priority. We've talked about that, but I also wanted to talk to you live on this deal. They're asking for 100 million euros in Mikhail Modric. That much we know. And I've already done a video saying Arsenal should not pay that much for Mikhail Modric. But I wanted to ask you your thoughts live here, guys. The 100 people watching. Do you think Mikhail Modric is a must sign for Arsenal to win the Premier League? That is the question. Do you think Mikhail Modric is a must sign or a must signing, a must deal for Arsenal to win the Premier League? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, ex-Arsenal scout has also come out and confirmed that Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham are some of the names discussed internally by Arsenal and the transfer board. Now, this is quite interesting here because we've always talked about that upgrade. We've always talked about the jump from signing the quality of Lokonga, El Neni, and all these, crap players to now making that upgrade and signing the real names, signing the real talent, signing the talent that everyone is fighting for. I think Declan Rice goes into every team in Europe. Every team in Europe, be it Bayern. I think, look, Kimmich and Goretzka, that partnership is absolutely formidable. It's one of the best in the world right now in terms of pivots. But I think Rice gets in there. Yeah, I think Rice gets in there. And then you have Kroos and Modric, or you have Tchouameni and Kroos. I still think Kroos can get Rice can get himself into there, in there. Look, I love Tchouameni. I think he's very, very good. But Rice, one of the best defensive midfielders. Actually, the best defensive midfielder for me by a far in the Premier League and also in the world right now. He's really, really doing very well. He's on top of his game. Now, the good thing with Declan Rice, won't be signing a new deal with West Ham. And in the summer, he will be for as cheap as £70 million. Yeah, I know. I mean, when you're English, that is the cheapest you can be. I think his contract will be running down in 2024. So in the summer of 2023, if he doesn't extend a new deal, and if West Ham do not trigger the option to extend by a year, they will be forced to sell him at £70 million. A lot of competition on this one, including Manchester United and Chelsea. Should Arsenal sign him? Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, who says no to Declan Rice? Look, if you're in the comment section, in my comment section, and you don't want Declan Rice to Arsenal, you actually don't know what you're talking about. Because if we wanted to win the title right now, one of the signings I would make is a number 6. I would definitely say Arsenal should go for a number 6, and Declan Rice is one of those very, very complete defensive midfielders in the world right now. Then Jude Bellingham is another name that has been mentioned, and I think with Jude Bellingham, the question is, have Arsenal reached that level to start, inquiring, to start admiring, to start dreaming about signing the levels and the quality of Jude Bellingham? I think we're not yet there yet. Probably if we win the Premier League, probably if we win the Europa League and go back to the UEFA Champions League. Look, right now, we are 10 steps or 20 steps, above Dortmund. But Jude Bellingham might not want to go 10 steps high. He might actually be looking at 100 steps above above where he is right now. Go from probably Dortmund to Madrid. Go from Dortmund to Liverpool. So if we want to compete with the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Madrid, Man United and all these clubs for the signing of such players, there's one thing we need to do. We need to get back to winning ways. We need to start getting silverware in our pockets as well. So Jude Bellingham, I won't really report much about this. We know is for sale in the summer, no question. Actually, I've seen an article hoping, Borussia Dortmund hoping that the good form that Jude Bellingham is displaying in the World Cup could actually raise his price above 125 million euros. Now, whether Arsenal do want to spend that much money on one talent, on one player, that remains to be seen. But I'll take Jude Bellingham all day long. I'll take Declan Rice all day long. And don't worry, I will do videos, separate videos for these players on how they fit into Arsenal and why Arsenal should be crazy about signing them. And finally, the boss, Ronaldo, is free. Ronaldo is available. We talked about it yesterday. And when I thought about doing a live stream, I was like, why don't we have a talk about Ronaldo? So can we have a discussion around Ronaldo? Don't forget to hit the like button. And I've asked you a question about Mikhail Modric. Is he a must signing if Arsenal are going to win the Premier League? And then what are your thoughts on Ronaldo? I need to get them live. I need to read them out loud so that the whole world on YouTube, the whole family, the whole community actually knows what are we thinking about Ronaldo. Too old, ambitious, problem in the dressing room, winner. If we're looking at it on a scale, which side actually weighs heavier? The positives or the negatives? I mean, talk to me there. Talk to me there in the comment section. I would really want to get your thoughts on that one, honestly. Okay. I'm going to start with the latest. So I hope you guys don't get offended. I'm going to start with the latest. Let's see how well we can do this and get these comments in a more organized way, right? Okay. Emma says Rice should be a top target for us in January. Now, I don't think it's a deal for us to do in January. However much, look, I really like these. I really like Declan Rice. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world. But West Ham are not giving you Declan Rice in January. Let's be honest. West Ham are not going to give you Declan Rice in January. And you'll have to understand they're still in the UEFA Conference League. They could win it if they want to, or if they get lucky. And then they're also still hoping to get European qualification through the Premier League. That is finishing either 7th or 6th. So I don't think they will be thinking about selling in January, right? And then you have to remember that the 70 million comes into effect in the summer, right? So the 70 you can get him for as cheap as 70 million in the summer. Is that even cheap? Anyway, but look, I would take him in January. I would take him all day. Emmanuel says Bellingham price is expensive. Trust me, we should look at somewhere else if only the price is expensive. Look, I got no problems with the expensive players. You look at Madrid and what they've done, in the UEFA Champions League over the years, and how much are they spending? How much did they spend on Tchouaméni? How much did they spend on Ronaldo? How much did they spend on Kaka? How much did they spend on on Cruz? I mean, signing expensive players means you're bringing in real quality. And who has a problem with quality? I really don't have a problem with quality whether expensive or not, right? For example, if we were to sign, one of my favorite players right now is Vicha Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, right? So if we were to sign Vicha Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, I would definitely pay over 80 million, right? If a player is worth it, I got no problem with the price, honestly. The club makes money. The club really, really makes money. Is there any possibility to sign Ronaldo? He's a free agent. Actually, this is the time where any club has big chances of signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Any club right now has big chances of signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Trust me, right? He's free. And George Mendes is finding it difficult to find a new club. I mean, if he goes to Chelsea, I won't be very surprised. Bayern have turned him down. ATM have turned him down. Can't go back to Juventus. Napoli don't want him. He can't go back to Portugal because of the wages and of the wages and salary. So there is a huge possibility that even Brentford right now can sign Ronaldo, provided he says my wages are going down. Many clubs now do have the chance to sign him. Minister TDE says, to me, Ronaldo might or will be a total distraction to our dressing room. I'm talking about his ego. We need those cool-headed players and not the ego based on best type play and not best ego based type players like Ronaldo. I mean, the question here, guys, is the balance, right? It's the balance. When you look at the scale, yes, it does have the ego, but does he win you titles? Does he score you goals? Is he better than Gabriel Jesus at making that final touch into the back of the net? Does he make you a lot of money when you sign him as a brand? Right? There's so many things there's so many things we should be considering here. Emmanuel says, if we sign Ronaldo, trust me, he will do his best to prove United wrong. Yeah, it means well. If you sign Ronaldo right now, it actually means well. And if you sign him and won the Premier League after 2 decades, that would be grabbing headlines, like really grabbing headlines. But I'm not saying we should sign him to grab headlines. I'm saying we should only sign him if he wins us the Premier League. Okay. Abdul says, Kosi, believe it or not, our front three needs a backup. Ronaldo would be a good addition, but I don't think he'll love to sit on the bench. One of the problems Ronaldo has is sitting on the bench, and we've talked about the ego already. But right now, does he have an option? That's another question. Yes, he doesn't want to sit on the bench, but does he have an option? Right? If he came to Arsenal right now, does he displace Martinelli? No. Gabriel Jesus? No. Saka? No. Can he get some 20 minutes every 90 minutes? Yeah. Every game, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? I think he can. And also, he can come in those games where we need an extra forward player on the pitch, right? You know, like when you take off Alexander Zinchenko, or you take off maybe Partey, and then you add another attacking player. Those are the situations where we should be signing him. Bas says, yes, we should sign a party backup. We've talked about Danilo, and the conversations between Arsenal and Palmeiras are ongoing. Kabia says, good morning, Kosis. I'm from Celerion. Thank you so much for the love. From Celerion, living in Holland. Make sure you hit the like button, and you can support the podcast using the $sign called a super chat in your comment section. So you look at your comment section where you're tapping the comment. You can see that $sign is a super chat. It's one way of supporting the channel. Thank you so much if you can do that. I believe Ronaldo will not play for big money. He just wants to prove himself. That is Emmanuel. Look, I think with Ronaldo, it is no longer about what he wants. It's the brand, right? We have had arguments that whether Ronaldo right now is bigger than Manchester United, given the fact that United are in a very, very bad situation, and they've apparently been put up for sale. Is he bigger than Manchester United right now? Probably, right? It can't be bigger than Manchester United forever, because it doesn't have the elasticity and longevity. He's only mortal and human. United is a corporation, is a brand, but look, it's difficult. It's really, really difficult here. But I think as a brand, you cannot pay him pennies, right? As a brand, you can't pay him pennies. You're not giving him 10K per week. You're not giving him 100K per week. That's not money he's gonna settle for. Okay. Guatabram says, good morning, Kosi. I'm from South Sudan. I think Ronaldo could be a good signing. Right. That's interesting. Tunamaska says, I think Ronaldo can play well at Arsenal if he comes in. Ba says, true talk, a real bonus for our team. Okay, that's quite interesting. Pai says, Kosi, but if Arsenal bring Ronaldo, my worry is which number is he going to put on? Because our star boy is doing really, really well. So the controversy on number 7, I don't think he actually deserves to put on the number 7, not at Manchester United and not at Arsenal as well. I think the reason as why he was given that shirt number 7 was to attract him, right? remember they were fighting off competition from Manchester City. They wanted to show him, you're welcome here. You are our star man. You are our star boy. And shirt number 7 is yours. So they were being a little bit persuasive. In this instance, I don't think Ronaldo needs to be persuaded to come to Arsenal. I'm sorry. I don't think we need to persuade him. Yeah, I don't think we need to persuade him. So it comes to Arsenal. Just like Messi went to PSG, shirt number 10 is given away. You put on shirt number 31. Actually, it comes to Arsenal. Which numbers are available? We could give him any number available. Like, no big deal, right? You're in the dang days of your career. You need to be a little bit humble. Fred says we don't want big names in our club. We want big names. We want big names. And the players that we are actually grooming right now will eventually become big players. Will eventually become big names. And how would you do that, right? I think the problem with big names here, guys, is the situation under which they come into the club. The likes of Aubameyang were the only big names in the squad, so they felt like they needed to do whatever they wanted. That was a mistake. Ronaldo feels bigger than the club, and Man United are currently not doing very well. But we need those big names, guys. Just imagine if you had Modric, if you had Cruz, all those are big names. If you had Benzema and Thibaut Courtois, I mean, you want those big names, don't you? Like Robert Lewandowski. There's those players that have the big names, but are just down to earth. Robert Lewandowski. You want the big names in your squad because big names symbolize quality players. Hi, Kosi. I think Gabriel Jesus is doing well, but we need a killer like Ronaldo. Especially when we begin the most crucial section of the season. We need a good backup for Partey and a defender as well. Actually, one of the discussions we will have on this channel in December, probably in January as well, is what kind of striker do Arsenal need, right? Is Gabriel Jesus sufficient, or would it have been better for us to sign a player like Gianluca Scamacca, right? I mean, talk to me there. Because for me, I feel Scamacca has a lot to offer, not more than Gabriel Jesus, but he offers a lot. And then he's also a killer striker. He has that effect of a killer striker. But, talk to me. Ronaldo just wants to play for teams that are title contenders. And because we are one, he will want to win with us now. He sees that we are really, really good at the moment, says Emmanuel. Look, we're going to be doing more of these conversations. Fred says, hi, Kosi. I would love to know Saka really wants to terminate his... Terminate? No. Saka doesn't want to terminate his contract. Actually, according to the latest reports, Arsenal have told their investors and key stakeholders that Saka is going to sign a new deal. Okay? So, he doesn't want to terminate. I'm still waiting for that correct reason why Arsenal have not actually signed him up on a new deal. Okay? Hit the like button. Press that, press that like button and the subscribe button as well. And... we are back. So we'll be talking more and more and more. I'll see you soon.